Hi everyone, welcome to QAWithSJ. Today we'll discuss levels of testing. So basically there are two levels of testing, functional testing and non-functional testing. So mainly we'll focus on functional testing. Non-functional testing is different story and a different way of testing approaches. But let's discuss functional testing. So again under functional testing we do have unit testing, integration testing, system testing, regression testing, and acceptance testing. Unit testing, this is already we have discussed. So unit testing majorly will be done by developers. So whatever the code they have written, whether it could be a front end code or whether it could be a back end code, so whatever the code that was developed by the developers, so they will write some tests with some framework like Jasmine or some other frameworks are also there. So with that they will write just to make sure whatever the code they have written that to satisfy. That's called unit testing. Okay, and the next one is integration testing. So integration testing is kind of the name itself is explaining integration between two components or two systems where data is flowing from one component to another component or one module to another module. Let's suppose create an order. When you create an order, what will happen under order history? When you go and check the order history, then automatically order will be one order ID will be shown, right? It will be displayed. So there is an integration. Once you create an order, that order ID you can see under order history. So there is an integration. So when you perform testing between these two different modules, that is called integration testing. Or let's suppose you search for a particular product and you click on add to cart. Now when you go and check the add to cart or wish list, then that particular product will be shown under add to cart or wish list. So that is the integration between add to cart functionality between the products. And the next one is system testing. When you test the entire system as a whole, that is called system testing. Again under system testing you can see some smoke testing and sanity testing. So this is very important. So system testing is when you test the entire application as a whole, that's what system testing you have to test. There are some other words also there like smoke and sanity testing. So what is the smoke and sanity? This is very important to understand because in your daily days of daily responsibilities you might have these kind of words, smoke testing or do sanity testing, something like that. Okay, so smoke testing is nothing but the critical functionalities. When you test a critical functionalities, that is called a smoke testing. What is a sanity testing? There is, so let's suppose there is some new feature got developed. When you test that particular new feature, that is called sanity testing. I hope you are clear. Smoke is critical. When you test a critical functionalities, that is smoke testing. When you test the new functionalities, that is sanity testing. Now let's see what is a regression testing. So regression testing is like, let's suppose there is a new functionality got added. There are some X, Y features already there in your application. Now Z is the new functionality got added. Now what you will do, you will test the Z functionality. This is new feature. When you test a new feature, what is the testing? Sanity testing, right? So you will test Z functionality. Again you will test X and Y, the existing functionalities also, just to make sure nothing is breakdown because of the new functionality called Z. That is called regression testing. So now you can see that somehow there is a relation between regression testing and sanity testing. So sanity testing is a part of regression testing, subset of regression testing. We call it like that also. Okay, there is a new feature got added. When you test the new feature with existing functionalities, that is called regression testing. Let's take an example of WhatsApp. So in WhatsApp there was no feature called status. There is no feature called upload videos. I mean, I think 5, 6 years or 7 years back, 10 years back, I think. Okay, then earlier days you have only chatting functionalities. Later status functionality got implemented. Now what they particular WhatsApp testers do, they test the status functionalities. along with the proper charting functionalities, whether it is we are able to send message to a particular person, whether it got delivered. So along with the new functionality, they will check the existing functionality just to make sure nothing is breakdown. That is called regression testing. Okay. Now the next one is acceptance testing. So what is an acceptance testing? So basically acceptance testing is done by end users or business users. Okay. Once the application is completely developed, at the last stage of environment, first people will test in dev environment, test environment, or staging. Once all these stages are passed, then it will go into the last stage. It could be a pre-pod, it could be a staging. It depends on the organization. Okay. So what is again, environment is new term. So environment is nothing but the same set of code or the same set of application related code will be deployed in multiple stages. So dev environment mostly used by developers. Test environment is used for test users. Let's suppose www.amazon.com/dev. Just to give an example, that's how the at the end of the day application is same, but developers use that particular stage. Now www.amazon.com/test, www.amazon.com/staging. So the same set of code will be deployed in multiple data centers, just to give an example. Okay, then it will generate one URL. That's what this URLs. Okay, so now at the end of this, after passing all the stages, now the business users or end users test the application, like how an end user do. That is called acceptance testing. Okay, so again in acceptance testing we have alpha and beta testing. So alpha testing is nothing but the end users are business users, like how real users test. So in similar way, their people will test it. That's called alpha testing. The next one is beta testing. So beta testing is they release it to the market. So end users like us, the customers, will try to use it. So what they will do, before releasing the product to all customers, they will try to release it to few of the customers. They will inject it, or if it is something live URLs, then they will give it, so the users start using it. And if there are any issues or anything, uh, people will comment or giving feedback, so they will collect the feedback accordingly, they will improve it. And then once that is everything is done, then finally they will release to the market. That is called production. Okay. So you might have heard about beta versions, alpha versions, some of the version updates. So beta version is nothing but it's not completely stable, still it is in testing phase, but by the customers. Alpha is kind of again not a stable version, but it is being tested. Testing is in progress by business users, I mean inside the organization. Beta is outside the organization. Okay. Now the non-functional testing, this is not required, we're not going to cover, but just to know what is a non-functional testing. So apart from functional testing, testing an application, there are some other things also we have to do. Again, some other tools are required to perform non-functional testing, like security testing, performance testing, database testing, right? So security testing is some I think burp tool or some OWASP JAP servers are available in the market. Those can be used to test security, like vulnerabilities. So they do some dependent injections to the applications just to cross check nothing is breaking down. Some penetration testing, vulnerability testing, all comes under security testing. And the next one is performance testing. So again, some tools are available in the market, like most popular one is JMeter, which is open source. Okay, if possible I will try to cover once my entire series of the testing is completed, maybe JMeter also some basics. Okay, so along with JMeter, Neoload, Load Runner, these are some procured license procured tools. JMeter is open source, and K6. K6 is one of the another popular tool is becoming now. It's more popular becoming now. You can use it for web or APIs performance testing. So again, under performance testing, we do have load, stress, spike, volume testing. So what does it mean? It will try to apply it more number of users to access the application at the same time, and they will try to verify how the application is able to behave, whether it is able to withstand or not. That's called the performance testing. Okay, and the database testing are compatibility where once the data once we play with the data with application, whether data is saving correctly or not, that kind of testing comes under database testing. Okay, so at the end of the day we are doing testing only, but keep in mind, when you do testing like this, they have given some name as a process we are following. If you test only new functionality, that is sanity testing. If you test only critical functionalities, that is called smoke testing. If you test new functionality along with existing functionality, regression testing. If you test the same application at the end of the before release, that is acceptance testing. If you test the system as a whole, system testing. If you test the data flowing from one module to another module, or one application to another application, that is integration testing. If you test the code written by the developers, that is called unit testing. So ultimately it's testing, but they have given different names for different approaches. That's it. I think I hope you understand. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe.